What if I told you there was a massive hole in your business that was draining money that you didn't even know was there? And you could fix it, but you need to know how it all works before you can actually fix it. There are certain things that drain your money faster than you can actually really even think of because it's just kind of seems like one of those costs of doing business, but it doesn't have to be. Now, my name is Thomas Bettino. I am the author of the book called E-Payment Secrets. The margin is how to unlock up to 30% more profit margin overnight in your business, plus other insider secrets from a payment professional. For the last 20 plus years, I have been working with hundreds of organizations to help them enhance their operations and their efficiency, more so their profitability, by better handling how they actually get paid. So the crazy thing that most people don't understand is when you get paid with a credit card, they take a percentage, usually about 3%. The credit card companies will charge you 3% for the ability to accept that as a form of payment. Now, what nobody really thinks about though is the fact that when you accept $100 from your customer and they pay you with a credit card, well, 3% is $3. That's coming off of your top line revenue. It's not like with taxes where you get to reduce your income until you're pretty much down to zero and you just pay taxes on what's left. No, with a credit card transaction, the fee is based on the top line revenue. So that entire $100 is taxed at 3%. It's not like you can whittle down out of that 100, I really only get to keep 10. So you take 3% of that, which would be 30 cents. No, they take $3. This is how payments work, right? And this is why you need to be a little bit more familiar with how they actually operate, because then you can have a better understanding of how to overcome properly some of these fees or better negotiate them with your credit card processors or your gateways or whoever you're working with. So one of the ways that payment processing works is it's a big, huge financial ecosystem. It's not just somebody coming up to you with a card. That card is issued by usually somebody like a bank, like Chase Bank or Bank of America or whoever. And then that credit card carries a logo, whether it's a Visa or MasterCard. That tells you what payment rails are going to be used to process that transaction. Then there's different types of credit cards that have different types of fees. There's almost over 300 different fee variations inside of that 3% that I mentioned. So if somebody comes in with, if just a regular consumer comes in and pays with their debit card, then you've got a very low transaction fee, usually about like a 0.5%. And then you've got all the way on up to a business rewards card that can be 4.5, almost 5% if it's an American Express. So think of like the American Express Black Card. That's probably got a pretty high, I don't even know what the transaction cost is on it. But for your business, it might be cool to say, yeah, we took a Black Card today, but you probably paid 5, 6, 7% to make that transaction happen just because it's a Black Card. So the crazy part is that most businesses just kind of say, I'm going to sign up for a PayPal account, or I sign up for a Stripe account, and I don't need to know how this works. I just pay the bills and you know, they take the money and help me get it into my bank account. Well, that can, as you grow your organization, that amount that they take can be a massive part of your final profit margin. Yeah. So think about it. Like if out of every $100 you make, you get to keep 10 of it, that'd be a 10% margin. And you're paying 3% on the top line, but you could get that $3 back by not paying those transaction fees. That's a 30% increase in your profit margin instantly. So these fees, while they may seem almost arbitrary, at least in the beginning of your business, they add up very quickly. And I can tell you that we at ExpressPay, we've helped organizations and we help them save 6 figures a year on these transaction costs. Like one business, we can help save 6 figures. It depends on how much business they're doing. Usually those are 10 to $100 million organizations. But at the same time, that's real world money. I mean, 6 figures. Imagine, you know, most organizations don't break past 6 figures in actual revenue. And we're putting that profit back on their bottom line, which is pure profit that they can use for R&D, for hiring, for bonuses, for sales increases and things like that, or they can reinvest it. These costs are major, right? They can have a huge impact on your business. So I just want you to think of 3 things. How much are you actually paying for accepting a digital payment, whether it's a credit or debit card or even electronics or a wire transfer? Those are a huge pain in the ass. They're costly as far as time goes and a massive pain in the butt for your customers. So like, how much are you actually paying to get paid? Even when you break it down into how much time your admin team or your bookkeepers are taking to actually reconcile these transactions, Or is it happening on a more automated basis because it's all going through a system like Mint or QuickBooks or whatever? Always think about how you're getting paid and how much is it actually costing you. Number two, how embedded in that process is it? Can you make it more efficient? If you can make it more efficient and automate certain things, do that as quickly as possible because that's the easiest lever you can pull to make your business more efficient. The easiest way to do this is actually go into your team and ask them what is the biggest time constraints you're hitting, right? For me, when I was in sales, it was paperwork, paperwork, paper. The more paperwork I was having to do, the less I was able to sell. So it's just a huge obstacle to actually achieving my goal as a salesperson. When I'm in marketing, it's usually how do we get information from the team faster into our department to make it more efficient so we can get this information out at a faster rate so that we're constantly in front of our customers and letting them know, hey, we've got this new feature, or we have this new cool tool you can use. Hey, we've got this new educational program so you can learn how to use this stuff faster and better and make it more efficient in your business. So, okay, number one, figure out how much you're actually losing in the systems that you're using to get paid. And number two, how can you make those systems more efficient? And number three, what can you add, delegate, or eliminate in your organization to make your payment process more efficient, right? Like I mentioned, wire transfers, they might be, the cheapest way to get paid, especially if you're dealing in high volume tickets or high ticket transactions, like $50,000, $60,000 transactions. But the process for that, not only for you in trying to reconcile paper, but also the process of your customers, the friction that adds is a huge, huge pain in the butt. And it's probably costing you, even if it costs you one client per year, let's say it's a $50,000 client, that costs you. I mean, that's real money. So again, how much is it costing you to actually get paid? How can you make it more efficient? And what can you add, eliminate, or delegate to make it better and a more streamlined system for both you and your customers? So those are the three things that you should take a look at when it comes to payment processing and how this whole thing works. And if you want more information, be sure to check out some of the other videos we have on our channel. We've been doing this for over 20 years, over 2 decades we've spent our life dedicated to actually hitting the streets, working with organizations to make their payment processing so much better and more efficient and turning it into an almost profit center for their organization. Because once they overcome the obstacles that I just mentioned, they can operate more efficiently, they can sign more customers, and they can do this all without working any harder. And also, if you're curious, go on Amazon, you can get the paperback or the audiobook for e-payment secrets. It's still up there. I think it's only $19. And it took me almost 20 years to learn all the stuff in the book. It's 127, I think it's 127 pages, and you can get through it in maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. So 20 years of knowledge in 2 hours in this book. If you want to learn exactly how all this works and how to get better leverage to make your payment processing so much more efficient and an actual profit center for your business. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video, guys. See you.